Hi kids, Mr. Wagner here. Welcome back. Today we have some notes for biology for our second unit, flowers, fruits, and seeds. You're going to need this packet. It was available at pickup. If you do not pick it up at the packet pickup, then you can print it off from the clear general materials folder. Flowers, Fruits, and Seeds 2020. First page, of course, is going to be all of our terms. So you're going to want to make sure as you go through your notes and fill those in, this will make it nice and easy for you to study for the test because all the terms will simply be listed right here and you put in the definitions that apply. Today we're going to go through pages 2 through 6 in our notes with our PowerPoint, starting at page 2. Again, should look like this. Don't forget also that colored pencils are a requirement of this class. You will need those to be coloring in your flower diagram. There are certain colors that you need to follow in order to get that done. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our PowerPoint message on flowers, fruits, and seeds. First of all, structure of flower. We have two different kinds of plants. We either have angiosperms or we have gymnosperms. Angiosperms, flowering plants whose seeds are enclosed in an ovary, which often becomes a fruit. So if you think about it, an apple, you bite into an apple, what's at the very center of the apple? The seeds. So the outer part of the apple that we actually eat, that's technically the ovary. Same thing in many other fruits that we have. The seed is usually in the center, and the fleshy part on the outside is usually what we eat, and that's called the ovary. For a gymnosperm, plants whose seeds are not enclosed in fruit, usually these are conifers. So you're thinking of like a pine tree, like a pine cone, or like an acorn. An acorn would be another one in which, the seed is there, but it's not really enclosed with anything else, with a kind of fruit. So usually are pines or conifers. What are flowers? Flowers are the reproductive part of the plant. They produce fruit and seeds. One primary function, produce seeds for reproduction. The basic parts of a flower, there's 4 of them, are the sepals, petals, stamens, pistils. Move myself up out of the way here. And there's also something called the pedicel, or it could also be called peduncle. That's the flower stalk. And then finally, the receptacle connects the flower parts to the pedicel. Be a little clearer once we get a picture of what we're talking about here. And here we go. This is actually the correct colors. There are certain colors we're going to need to read in, to put in there. You're going to have to read through the material at the bottom of page 2, read through it, and in there it will tell you exactly what color to color all the parts of the flower. So you're going to read through and color all of that. Make sure that the points are correct. You can always refer back to this if you want to make sure. This is one in which everything is colored correctly, whether it's black, pink, brown, green, yellow, or whatever other color you might have. Also going to color the small little boxes with the stamens and the sepals. Stamens and the pistils. My mistake. Stamens and pistils. So color those also. Okay. So you're going to answer those questions on pages, looks like 3, 4, and 5. Answer questions on pages 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to jump back in here, talking about how filaments, anthers and filaments can be attached. Okay, I'm not sure if this is in the notes, but be something just to look at, how anthers and filaments are attached. I'm seeing if I can find it. It does not look like it's directly in the note packet there. That's okay. Anthers and filaments can be attached. In A, the filament is attached to the base of the anther. In B, it's along the back. And in C, it's at a point at the back of the anther. Notice there are the 3 different points, how they can be attached. Again, not in your note packet. Types of pistils. Single pistil consisting of several fused carpels, A, and several pistils each consisting of a single carpel, B. And the positions, it can either be A, where it's kind of sticking out, B, where it's kind of down underneath, and C, where it's kind of fully attached. And this is what the ovule can look like, A, B, C, or D. Again, these are not in your notes. It's okay. We're just going to look at it and go through it. And now this is in your notes. Labeling parts of the flower. Looks like we are on pretty much. See if I can go down here. That'll be easier. Looks like we're on page 5. Label the parts of the flower. So you're going to read through them and label them based upon the definition. The tip of the flower stamen contains the pollen. So go ahead and label those as best you're able. And then on page 6, top of page 6, we're going to finish this for our notes. Talking about complete flowers. Complete flower has sepals, petals, pistils, and stamen. That's a complete flower. In other words, it has everything it needs. It has both the male and the female reproductive parts. That's called a complete flower. Incomplete, lacks one or more. So some examples. If you're a poinsettia, lacks petals. The red petals are actually special leaves called bracts. If you are grass, move my thing here so you can see it. Grass family have bracts instead of petals and sepals, so it's lacking something. That would be an incomplete flower. And then you got to keep moving, I guess. Staminate flowers. These are lack pistils. They only have stamens. Stamens are the male parts of the flower. So the stamen would be the male reproductive part of the flower. The pistil is the female part. So if you have a staminate flower, it only has male parts. Only has the male parts. A pistillate flower lacks stamens, does not have the male parts. Again, if you have both male and female parts, you're a complete flower. If you're a staminate, you only have a stamen. If you're a pistillate, you only have a pistil. These would be female flowers, pistillates, female flowers. They have the female structures only. We also have something called monoecious. Monoecious plants. They have the staminate and pistillate on the same plant. So the same plant grows. It has both male and female reproductive parts. That's called monoecious. Mono meaning all in one. Mono means one. So in the one plant, we've got everything we need. Example would be corn. Pollen is found in the tassel. That's the staminate part. And the stigma is in the silk, which leads to the ovary. That's the pistillate part. So on that same stalk of corn, you have both male and female staminate and pistillate flowers. Different flowers on different places, but they have both the male and the female parts. Now you have something called dioecious. They have staminate and pistillate flowers on different plants. What's that means? One plant primarily has the female parts. Another plant, exactly the same species, but has the male parts. Two different examples. Ginkgo. Staminate flowers are found on male trees. Whoopsie, I'll go back here for you. Let's see if I can go back. There we go. Staminates found on male trees. And pistillates are found on female trees. So they actually have one trees where they only have the male reproductive parts. On the other tree, they have only the female reproductive parts. And then you would need cross-pollination. You'd need to get the pollen or the materials from the one plant to the other plant for fertilization. Factors that affect flowering. The amount of daylight, temperature, and soil fertility are all factors that can affect flowering. Chief factors that affect flowering for most plant is the amount of sunlight, which is called photoperiodism. Remember we had photo from our first unit, photosynthesis. Photo means light. So periodism means the amount of, or the period of light that a plant gets. The certain period of light that a plant gets might affect its flowering. So we have short day plants. They require days that consist of long periods of darkness. They want very short days, not too much light. Examples are the chrysanthemums, poinsettias, dahlias, and asters. So the chrysanthemum, that's usually blooms, I believe, in the early spring, and poinsettia is usually around Christmas time. And the idea of why that is because during the Christmas time, especially in the northern hemisphere, we get less sunlight. Less sunlight, so this would be a short day plant. Long day plants, they require periods of darkness shorter than critical length. So in other words, they want long periods of light for these special plants. These would be my long day plants. They require or like long days. Some examples are ragweed, clover, and gladiolus. You'll often hear about ragweed in the summer when they talk about maybe summer and early fall. They'll talk about sometimes allergy warnings. And some people are allergic to ragweed, has lots of pollen that will mess up your allergies if you have them. Ragweed, of course, it grows in long daylight. That's during the summer where we usually have lots of daylight. Sometimes the sun can be up in the summer till 8, 9, 9:30 at night. And with all that extra sun, then ragweed really flourishes. That's why you often have allergy warnings in the summer and in the early fall for things like ragweed. Say it correctly. We also have something called day-neutral plants. The amount of sunlight doesn't matter. Tomato, dandelion, these don't matter if it's long day or short day. They just will grow pretty much any time. And some other examples. Some plants are programmed to open and close at certain times of the day. Example are the morning glories. Opens early, closes by noon. And the 4 o'clocks, that's literally the name of the flower, opens around 4 p.m. And then the evening primrose, open after it starts to get dark. That's why it's called the evening primrose. So you'll set 3 of those plants that all have programs where they open either early in the morning or at 4 o'clock or in the evening, and all that is in their names, parts of their names. All right, I believe that's all we're going to cover today. When we come back to class, we'll be doing some material from page 7 in your notes, and you're going to need some materials from the book to do that. I will either make copies available or we'll be doing it in class, one or the other. Okay, great job with notes today, everybody. If you have any questions, you can go back and rewatch some of this if that will help you. Otherwise, take care and God bless. Good to see everybody.